Now, you remember back in 1990 when Iraq had gone into Kuwait. Now, if you're Eric Bowling on Fox News, you don't remember this at all. That moron thinks that we did not go into Kuwait to quote-unquote liberate it. He's like, no, we just threatened that. We didn't actually go in. He thinks Saddam didn't even go into Kuwait. Oh, the monumental stupidity of Fox News. Anyway, now, of course, the rest of us know that Saddam did go into Kuwait, and then we expelled him from there. But of course, it was always a question of, hey, did our ambassador there, Ambassador Gillespie, send the wrong signal to Saddam Hussein? Now remember, 1988 and 1990 are not that far apart. They're only 2 years apart. 1988 is when, with our help, Iraq winds up dealing a decisive blow against Iran. Iran was on the verge of winning that war when Iraq used sarin gas on Iranian troops whose positions they knew because of information we gave them, okay? So obviously at this point, Saddam's thinking, well, America's my buddies. They're my allies. They just helped me, battle Iran to at least a draw, and I was going to lose if it wasn't for them, but they came in and let me use chemical weapons, by the way, not only on Iran, but against my own people. So obviously they're on my side. So he has a conversation with our ambassador, and basically he's saying, look, I'm having negotiations with the Kuwaitis. I think they should give me more of their oil. But they're not cooperating. Now, it turns out we know what happened there. You know why? Because of Manning's leaks to Wikileaks. One of the memos leaked was Ambassador Gillespie's memo. So we actually now know what happened there. And the issue is actually mixed. It's not black and white. Now let me share what we found out in that memo. Apparently, Gillespie assured Saddam of Bush's friendship and expressed support for the negotiations being set up by Hosni Mubarak for the weekend of July 28th and 30th. Again, remember, this is in 1990, okay? So we're saying to Saddam, hey, listen, we're in favor of negotiations, but remember, we're your buddies. Little mixed messages. Okay, now next, they say, she also explicitly said the United States took no position on the border dispute between Iraq and Kuwait, though the summary also mentions that she made clear the U.S. wanted the move solved peacefully. So there she says, hey, listen, you got to do it peacefully. You can't go around using force. She's at least clear on that. On the other hand, she says that we have no position on how much of Kuwait's oil you should decide to take for yourself. That also seems like at least a yellow light. It's not a red light, certainly. So we got some red lights, we got 2 green lights by my reading of this so far. And then finally she said, or the memo says, Hussein assured that no action would be taken against Kuwait if the negotiations showed some progress, which seemed to suit the U.S. at the time. So now Saddam says, don't worry, I'm going to resolve it peacefully. But so I think it's fair for Ambassador Gillespie to come back and say, I don't think he's going to invade. Obviously that turned out to be false. He did invade. But if you're Saddam, when you look at it in the context, you're like, well, the U.S. has got my back, and they let me just pulverize Iran with chemical weapons and my own people. I'm telling them here, I'm really pissed at the Kuwaitis. I'm ready to take action. And they're telling me they have no official position on that border dispute, but that they'd like me to resolve it peacefully. Maybe he interpreted that as, at best, a yellow light and maybe a green light. And then found out, of course, otherwise later when we decided, oh, no, you were our ally when you were attacking Iran. But when you're attacking Kuwait, we already have an oil deal with them. You're no longer our ally, which then leads to decades of war with Iraq. God, our government does such a great job of intervening in the Middle East. Now, gee, I wonder why the American people are against intervening in Syria. In fact, these stories make me reconsider my position on it. Every time we've intervened, we have made an absolute mess of it. And partly because we don't give a damn what American interests are. We care whatever corporate interests we've made a deal on.